I'm excited to introduce today's webinar, a product deep dive on precision engagement at scale with dynamic assignment. Today's speakers are Ravit Danino, our SVP of Product, and Amit Blumen, our Director of Product. So welcome, Ravit and Amit.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, and thank you, Lorena. First, I'll say that it's great to see the same names coming back week after week for those webinars. It's definitely exciting to see that we have customers and prospects that are eager to learn about customer success and how to drive customer success, especially in those, I would say, challenging days. So in today's webinar, as Lorena mentioned, we want to talk more about dynamic assignment, dynamic engagement, and how can you drive those more successfully with the new capabilities that we are offering into Tango and that were introduced in the last few weeks. We will start the webinar with a short presentation, few slides to share with you what does it mean, dynamic assignment, and how does it work? And then Amit will go to a deeper dive demo that will show you how is it to use dynamic assignment into Tango and how much value it can give to each one of you driving customer success in his organization. So let's start. So when we are talking about traditional customer success engagement, we usually split the market, as all of you, I'm sure, doing for every business that you're running, in a shape of a pyramid. At the top, we have the enterprise account, then mid-market account, and at the bottom, usually the SMB account. When we are looking on the customer success engagement model, we usually look on a ratio of 1 customer success manager to 15 accounts or less when we are talking on enterprise accounts. And I can speak from my experience. We sometimes see examples of very big accounts where customer success manager has the ability to manage only 1 or 2 enterprise accounts versus a situation where he can manage up to 15 accounts and below. When we are talking on mid-market, we usually see 1 customer success manager dealing with around 250 accounts. And lastly, when we are talking on SMB accounts, we do see around a ratio of around 1 CSM to around 1,000 accounts. Now, each engagement model, because it needs to handle different amount of accounts and also has different requirements from the customers you're working with, has a different customer success engagement model. So when I'm looking on it, usually enterprise are being managed in a customer success engagement model that is called key account management. A CSM is heavily engaged with every account and managing the account by having a specific plan for account, by and having interaction with the account. This is usually how the enterprise are being managed. When we are looking on portfolio management, this is usually for the mid-market, where a customer success manager can engage with, as I said before, between 1 to 250 accounts. And lastly, where we want to focus today is when you want to have a digital engagement, where you do not have the ability to give 1 customer success manager for every account. And you want to make sure that the assignment will be done only when needed for some engagement, or the assignment will be done only when a customer has a specific question, or when I'm running a specific project. I want to make sure that it will be a customer success manager helping that account. But I do not have a specific customer success manager colored for a specific account. And in these examples, it's much harder to manage which customer success manager will be dealing with which account. How do I manage this model? How do I manage the assignment? And this is where this is where dynamic assignment will come into play and will help each one of you to make sure that you are answering customer and account requirements on time. So just before we'll move on, I do want to mention 2 quick items. The first one is Totango is enabling you manage customer success manager for customer success engagement model for each tier that we are seeing right now. We have capabilities around key account management, we have capabilities around portfolio management, and we have capabilities around digital engagement with dynamic assignment, which we will be focusing on today. In the upcoming weeks, please monitor the Totango webinar page that will be posted at the end of the webinar, and you will see when are we going to deep dive to key account management and how to drive that successfully into Totango, and following that, the portfolio management, which most of us are familiar with, but we would like to make sure that we are drilling down to that. So make sure that you are stay tuned when the next webinar will address the key account management and the portfolio management. Second thing is, before we'll move on, I would like to have a quick poll for one of the questions. Lorena, can we please pull the first question? Can you share with us how many of you already have different engagement model for different market segments? I believe many of the people in the audience has different requirements from their customer success manager, how to engage. Can you just click, please, yes or no to see whether you have a different engagement model for different market segments? And I assume, Lorena, the poll is open right now.
It is open.
Okay.
We will be closing the poll.
Okay, just tell me. Okay. So I think most of the customers or most of the people on this call shared that they already have different customer success engagement model, which is great. I believe this is the case in the industry in general, but I think many customers are still looking for guidance. How can I manage each engagement model and what is actually different? So one of the things we learned, that this has actually been taken from a survey and some kind of analysis that TSIA group did to learn a little bit more how the word of customer success engagement model has developed through the years and how did we get to dynamic assignment. So we started with what we called a reactive model. A customer has a problem or need help. He is coming up to us and asking to get some help on that. So that's a reactive model. The next step was proactive. I want to make sure that I will know better before the customer even coming with a question, how can I help him? I'm offering my help to the customer in a proactive manner at every point in time. Then we learned that there is a predictive model when, based on customer behavior, we are trying to predict what will be the next step in which the customer will need to get some help. We are doing a lot of AI and machine learning algorithm at the background to learn what are the things that customer might need in the future, and we are engaging with him based on that. And this is called predictive. And lastly is what we are referring to today when we are talking about dynamic engagement. We would like to achieve an optimal alignment between what the customer needs, when he needs it, and the customer success manager. Imagine that a customer has a problem and he knows how to speak only in German language. You want to make sure that a customer success manager that will be assigned to him and will help him will know German. So that's the next model, and this is dynamic assignment, what we are focusing on today. Dynamic assignment, make sure that you will put the right resource at the right point in time in order to deliver the best experience for the customer, and also in a way that you will maintain the cost that you are delivering him. Dynamic assignment concept was introduced by TSIA in the last conference that they had a few months ago, I'm sorry. And it actually came exactly at the same week in which Totango delivered the dynamic assignment capability as part of Totango Spark. So now it's a capability that is open for all of you to try. So what does it mean? We are enabling you to allocate the resource to engage with the customer only when needed. and not only when needed, but also taking into account what is the skill of the customer, how many years of experience he has, from which region he comes, because that will affect the time zone, which language he knows, and what is the availability of the customer success manager that will help him. These are only examples. Basically, you can define what are the different criteria that matters for your business in order to assign a customer success manager to a user when it's needed. You can define that for your organization. Actually, what matters is not the skill level, but the product that the customer use, for example. And only based on that, you will assign a customer success manager to him. So the alignment between a customer success manager and the customer needs are very important in order to drive for the best experience for the customer. And this is where dynamic assignment will help you to create this match. Lorena, can we please pull question number 2? So what I want to learn is, do you plan to have digital engagement team? Do you look on leveraging the model of digital engagement? Awesome. So I think many of the customers talked about, and these are actually a few of the comments that I got in the chat as well. Customers are looking to dynamically assign a customer success manager because this is a more or a cost-effective model for them, which will assure great experience for their users, but they are asking how and what is the best method for that. And I think this is a great segue to the business use case, which Amit will present to you right now, and then we'll demo into Tango. Amit?
Hi everyone, good morning, actually good evening on my end. Everyone can see my screen here. And I would actually like to cover the business use case of dynamic assignment. And for that purpose, I chose one interesting business use case, which is for me as an upgrade program owner in my company. I would like to push more tech touch customers to upgrade to the new version of the cloud software in our case. And since in the upgrade process, there is no specific ownership of that process, it actually fit in a very good way to dynamically assign people. In my case, the participants are, I am the upgrade program owner, which I would like to have, a general view of what's going on with all the upgrade project that I handle. And of course, digital CSM that will, eventually create and do all the work. Again, in my use case, I want to push customers, my tech customer to upgrade to the new software. And I don't have any account ownership for those customers. And I want to show you how it's done. So I want to resolve that. And I know that my issue is that I need some on-demand resources. Okay, they are not allocated for that. Maybe they have other assignments and other tasks to do, but I want them to rally on my tasks and just push it forward. So what I will create is an automated campaign recommending the user and explaining why it's important to move to the upgraded version and install the software. And then the user will, show some interest in doing that. We're not forcing people to do that, of course. And this interest that the customer, the end user showed is actually triggering an assignment workflow into Tango, which eventually will find the best person, the right person to perform this task. And as Ravit mentioned, it will be dynamically assigned based on various information and characteristics of the user on one hand and of the assignee on the other end. So it will require a match of region, skill, language, and any other matching criteria that you would like to add. So this is what I had in mind as a solution. And now I actually want to show you how it's done. So let me just jump here real quick. Yeah. So again, initially what we did is I created a campaign, okay? A campaign into Tango that send the email to the end user explaining why it's important to move to my new AI chatbot. This is my software, my new software that I want to promote. And this is the rough explanation. And I hope that I catch the eye of the end user, and he will click the button of, yes, I want to upgrade. He did. This landing page actually open, and this is how he should upgrade. 1, 2, 3 steps, and then he's there. And if he doesn't succeed or needs some help from us, from the company, then you just click help me upgrade. And you will get a small feedback here saying, we will reach out to you soon. This small intent, this request for help actually push forward a different thing. Yeah, so this is the campaign, and then I'm going into Tatango. And this little intent that the customer had actually started the dynamic assignment process. And then as a user, as the digital CSM, let me now be the digital CSM for a sec, I would go into my agenda. Okay, this is the task that I need to do as the digital CSM. And you can see that the trigger that I just click, or the end user just click, actually created this task. And this task is all about upgrading, helping upgrading. And then this is the description. This is what the digital CSM need to do. You need to follow up the attached file and just help him upgrade. So of course, there are many like that. So in my case, I'm helping 2 customers here. As you can see, I have PwC as well. And this is the task that I want to complete. This is the document that explains all about the upgrading. Once I will complete this task, maybe another task will come in. But again, this is dynamically assigned, so I can have time to work on my other stuff until another task of this nature comes in. So this is the basic flow. The other example, the other hat that I want to show you is the fact that I created, as the upgrade program owner, I'm actually responsible for the entire software upgrades. So I created a success block in Tatango with this dashboard that helps me actually find out or figure out and analyze what's going on in every continent, because this is how I work here. So these are the upgrades that are in progress. These are the ones that actually are done. And here I have my post-upgrade CSAT analysis. So here I can actually clearly understand what's going on. Again, this is the upgrade program owner view. Okay, so I actually have 2 different roles here, 2 different users. This is how I see the results of all this effort. And what I showed you at the beginning with the campaign that the end user click, which dynamically create a task for my digital CSM group. This is the first item that I have. Any questions, comments so far? Just, add it to the chat.
Again, you can ask questions via the chat or the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen.
I want to cover some small thing behind the scene, because the logic and the smart process and the algorithm actually goes behind the scene. So in a very simple overview, the digital CSM information, in my case, includes language and region and other pieces of information that is relevant for anyone in my company. And the success play that I created, a success play in Tatango, is the automation that creates those tasks dynamically. So the success play itself, responsible or defined to have a match between the customer region, the customer preferred language, this is another piece of information that we have, with the digital CSM. And here in this snapshot, you can see that this is what I'm doing. I'm doing a criteria matching between the account region to the user region and so on. So this is what defined or how it's configured behind the scene. And this is actually the result. You saw that. The result is that those two digital CSM got the task, and they got the task because they were on the same region talking with the same language or the preferred language that the customer had. So this is our business use case. And actually, if you want to hear more about use cases like that and how companies are using dynamic assignment in Tatango, you can search for this YouTube in our channel for this video, here David McKinney is talking in our CSX Connect summit, and he explained how they are doing dynamic assignment with Tatango, how Bentley is doing, which is very interesting.
Amit,
So,
there are a couple of questions that I think it will be great. We have a few more minutes if we can answer.
sure.
So one question is how availability works, how Tatango get availability and how Tatango calculate availability of each person versus the amount of time it takes for a task to be completed.
This is a great question. So first of all, in Tatango, we are gathering and capturing the availability from the customer system, either the project management system, the HR system. So we know in every point in time how how many hours can be invested by each and every digital CSM that we have. So once we have this information in the system, and this is why I went back in the slides, you can see here that in the success bay, the one that is responsible for creating the task, I can see assignment order here at the bottom. And I chose next person in line, but as you can see here, I can choose another options. This is actually inputs for the algorithm. So I have here available person, either the next one, the next available in line, or the most available person. So availability goes and baked in this algorithm. So we are not matching only by region and language as explained here, but we can add availability to this work as well. And of course, there is a full mechanism of treating availability, right? So every task has its own effort, or estimated effort actually. So if I said that this task is 2 hours long, once I'm assigning that to someone, of course, their availability reduces in those 2 hours and so on. And once they are completing the task, then this availability actually is restored. So this is how we handle availability, actually a parameter within this algorithm.
One more question, Amit, that we have is how Tatango handles situations where I cannot find a match by the criteria that I have defined from the user side. What does Tatango do with the task at this point?
So yeah, this is again a good question. So there might be cases where if I'm talking about availability that I have no one available for this task, right? It can happen. And then we have some other mechanism that helps understand if this task should belong to a different person, let's say that talks the same language, but not in the region and so on. But eventually, if no one is actually fit to the task or to do the work, then we have what we call an exception management flow. And the exception manager, there is a person in this flow that is defined as the one that is responsible to handling all the exceptions of this success plan. He got the note that no one actually was assigned to that, and he has several options and several mechanisms to reassign it either to other people, review, other people that are available, maybe they're not, this is not their preferred language, they can use several languages and so on. So he can manually assign it, or there is another flow for automatically try to reassign it on a different cadence. So we have a full mechanism of handling those exceptions.
Okay, thank you. And I will take the last questions. There are a few people that ask, how can I try this feature? So the feature is opened right now to every Tatango customer as a beta feature. So you can go ahead and try it. And if you're not yet a Tatango customer, you could just go ahead and register to our free customer success Tatango trial right now, free of charge, free forever, community edition, and go ahead and look on all the features that Tatango offers.
We also have a COVID-19 customer engagement toolkit that'll help you guys create and understand your customers and which customers to target. And you can also utilize this with our free customer success for 3 users or less. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We really appreciate you coming. As Amit mentioned, Dave McKinney spoke at our CXO Connect and shared how they are using dynamic assignment. And you can find that on our YouTube channel, Everything Customer Success.